Hey guys, welcome back to Life's Abundant Journey. I have some news for you. I have bought a property. And so today I'm at my dad's house, harvesting from my green stalk and my containers here, my tomatoes. Ooh, I see a butterfly. I thought she was really pretty, so I wanted to show you. But yeah, I bought a property. I'm here today harvesting at my dad's house, and in a month I will have my new property. It has lots of flowers, but it has a real wild sense to it. There's not mulching or much weeding that has been done, and so there will be some work for me to do this fall, and come the spring I will be getting, you know, working on putting in raised beds and things like that. So I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of redecorating and DIY projects, and I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride. And it's my first property, so everything has been up here for a very long time. I've been Pinteresting so much, and so I'll share my boards down below if you want to follow me on Pinterest and see what my aesthetic is and things like that. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek of the packing and the moving part too. And come a month from now, I am going to be very far deep into home ownership and projects around the house. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. It's just an adventure for me that I've never done before, and I'm going to be doing it a lot on my own. I have my boyfriend and my dad that are going to help me, and I'm sure some of my family and friends, but I'm going to be living there. So I'm excited to just do it and to see how it goes. So my tomatoes, nothing has done great this year because we have gotten so much rain, and yeah, it's been a mess. So I have some type of squash growing down there that's I'm just letting go, but it's probably not going to do anything. I'm not sure what kind of tomatoes these are. They grew from my microgreens, and but a lot of tomatoes have split because I'm not living here, and so there's been that. So I pulled a bunch, you'll see over there, I pulled a bunch that are blushing, but it is the end of, what is it, mid-August, and I'm now just getting tomatoes because of all the rain and not as much sun as we really need. So I planted moonbeams, which are a bright yellow, Lucky Tiger, which I'm not sure what color they're supposed to mature to because they have stripes on them. They have some stripes, but nothing has matured, and they've even split when they're still green. And so those are bigger tomatoes. There's cherry and plum. So I guess those are plum to cherry. What are the different types? Those are bigger than a cherry. These ones, but they're like an oblong shape. Candy cane here, but these ones must be an heirloom because they have a lot of like, they're not very pretty tomato. They've had a lot of like brown spots on them and things like that. I think that would mean that it's more of an heirloom. Super 100s, which I had super prolific last year, but last year we didn't have much rain at all and it was all sun. And so I've had a very different experience than last year, which was my first year gardening. Oh, I got some back here that I didn't see, but see, every time I pick some, we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes growing in the woods because I'm just throwing dozens back there. I'll pick those, let them ripen a little bit. Let's see, Dr. Witchy, I just pulled a big one off of there. We have a few growing, which are big slicers. And these are definitely heirloom because they are all sorts of funky shapes. Berries, Crazy Cherry. This is my first year growing, well, this is my first year growing most of this stuff. But these ones, even when they're green, if I moved to this, they would all fall. So I'm not sure if that's normal for berries, but I just pulled off a bunch of these, and these mature or ripen to yellow. And then I have Amish paste tomatoes here, which I can't wait till next year. I have so many plans because I definitely want to do more of like slicing and paste so that I don't think any of these has end rot. I haven't had too much trouble with end rot this year, which is nice. But I don't have enough to can for sure. So either I might just skip on the canning, or I might get some from a local farmer. And so here is some that I picked. These are all the berries, Crazy Cherry, the yellow. And then this is the Dr. Witchy that I picked. And I think that all, like, the fact that it's not like perfect looking is because it's an heirloom. My green stock over here, I have had some luck with peppers. And again, next year I can't wait to plant more pepper plants, but I don't think it's in enough sun over here. I got a nice little daddy longleg up there. All my broccoli has gone to seed and flowered, no matter what time I planted it. I have cabbage down here that I'm not sure. It looks good, so I know that takes a long time to, I think it takes a long time to produce a head, so that's still growing. I have some herbs in here that are doing good, but I think it just needed more sun. None of my basil grew. I actually have some seeds started in my apartment that I might transplant out here, but I also might just put it on the balcony in my apartment and transplant it to my house when I get there. I'm going to dry this cayenne and the chili. I think I'm going to wait one more week to do that. And last year, this was on a deck with lots of sun, and I think it's just too shaded here next to the house, but I was afraid none of this is super flat. I don't have a deck here. Well, it's just my parents' house, so I didn't want to, you know, put it in the way of their stuff. And just, so like, this is my bell pepper and I've only gotten one. Purple bells are like not bells, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, because I certainly know I had a lot of plants that I gave somebody else and they were all labeled purple bell. And so I know there's been some pepper issues this year, but I don't think it was with bell peppers. Well, and I got these, none of these were like box store peppers. I had a couple of shishitos here, Jimmy Narvalo, got one there. But that's the thing, is that because of how small, because I was only able to put like one plant in, and I know it could be more prolific if this was in the sun with better summer conditions, I would get more peppers. But it's like, okay, I got 2 shishitos. What am I gonna do with it, you know, except for just eat it raw? And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with the hot peppers, if I just dry them all together, or if I should separate them out, because I know when you dry, it's gonna go down to like nothing. And so here I got ground cherries, which has been super prolific, and they rotted out, and I stuck them in like more than once, like twice, I think. And then they grew, which is so funny because they're not as fuzzy. I guess they are, but like, I know that they're a type of tomato. Look at all the pollen on my hands. So they rooted regardless. They successfully rooted, and they're covered, but I haven't gotten many because I'm not here, and of all the rain and the animals. But this one like fell off, but it doesn't look very papery. Oops. And it's split. Oh, I don't even know where it went. Let's see this one. And that one's split. I might eat it anyway. They're definitely good, but I would love to know what they taste like with more sun, you know, and more. I'm gonna pick some of these that are like nice and dry. Oh, look at this. It's a nice sunny day now today, but still, I don't see the sun. They're so good. I understand now, but I imagine they would be much sweeter. And I'm just picking off the ones that look like they're about to drop, because otherwise I'd never get any. So interesting, because I've had some from Trader Joe's that are like in paper, but I don't think they're not called ground cherries, so I don't know what those ones are. But I never, oh, that one's gross. Ooh, it's all split. But this is covered, like it's absolutely covered, and this is growing in a grow box, and there's 2 plants, and it is just covered, and it still has foliage on it. You can see there. And this has had a bug. I'll put the name of it on here, that I've never seen before. It's green and it's little, and it goes on the leaves. And the only reason you can see it is because of their defense mechanism, which is, as far as I'm concerned, makes it so I can see them. So I don't know how it's defense mechanism, but it's poop on their back. and they don't move very fast. Oh, here's another one. But it's clearly, I don't see them anymore. And I had never seen them before, but I'm in New Hampshire. That is, I definitely picked the wrong one. Just wanted to pick this one. Oh, is that one of the bugs? That's one of the bugs, but it's dead because it's usually green. So, and that's all rotted out. But this bug, which I had never seen before, my sister had on her tomatoes down in Massachusetts, which is 2 hours away from where I'm at here. And I'd never seen it before, but it's only on my, when I saw it, when the bugs were everywhere, it was only on my ground cherries and not on my regular tomatoes at all. So over here I have black tomatoes, which I haven't gotten any ripened. These are all green. And then over there, these are sunrise, which I don't think I think I picked a couple that are, see, these are striped and they look much better than the other ones over the, that look more of like an air bloom. These ones look more kind of perfect. They're really, really pretty. So I probably should pick this one. Let it ripen. So this is sunrise, and then the candy cane looks very similar. The candy cane's more of a swishy marking, while this is more of a, like a paint strokes, I feel like. But most of the candy cane end up getting this black, like kind of distraught look to them. So I think, I mean, they're also in different locations. These ones are here. These ones are more in the shade over there. But I think I'd be more apt to grow these ones, which are sunrise in the future. All these ones with the black marks are candy cane. And then this is a sunrise, and these are all sunrise over here as well. So they just look better. There's got less bruising on them than these candy canes. So, and let me just say the hydrangeas are doing so beautifully. These are my favorite hydrangea. They start like this and then they dry and they finish off like that, and they're just, I love them. They're so pretty. If you guys want me to do a garden tour, but I did one last year. I just haven't had much time this year. So just let me know. These are planted carrots, and they're a much smaller type of carrot, and you can see that they are growing, but I'm not gonna pick those until like last possible moment, because I know that despite how much green they have, it could have absolutely no root. So I'll let those continue to grow. I'm surprised I'm even getting any. Is this a weed or a bean? Because I did plant some beans in here. I think they're, oh no, that's a weed. I'm gonna rip out the beans and peas that I was growing in here, and try to do a new session of them, new crop. So that's my plan here. And I know I probably would be disturbing some of the carrots, but this was originally, my only plan was to do peas and beans in here, and they just didn't do very well. It's hard to have a garden in a spot that you're 2 hours from. And so I knew that was a possibility. I knew that was the situation I had, and I'm just taking it as it is. Next year I can do so many different things, but I really should just clip that instead of tearing it up, because I'm gonna mess up all my carrots. So it's very sad down here, but I figured I'd show you before I rip it all out. It didn't do so hot. So I was thinking, oh, I'll use, because there's landscape fabric everywhere here. Oh, look at the slugs. But it's very wet down here, and I know that the grow bags dry out quickly. So I was thinking, this is perfect. Then I won't have to water them because they're on wet ground, and it will just moisturize. Yeah, this is just all dead. It's all just rotted out. And these were pumpkins. Over here we have more of the same. I mean, there's foliage on here, but there's these just, I think this was a pumpkin. Yeah, this was a flat white, which got one pumpkin that rotted out because it produced it like right against the side of it. I'll leave this just because it's got green foliage, but it doesn't look so hot. This is an empty one. I forget what was in there. Broccoli that went to seed because I grew it too far into the summer. And this has got, This was a zucchini, which is supposed to be easy to grow. I picked one last week that's hard as a rock, and this one's hard as a rock, so I gotta let that grow if it will grow. And I'll clip off the dead leaves there. This is another zucchini that it looks like it's alive, but it hasn't produced anything. Only I would fail with zucchini. I mean, it's just very wet, but it's in a grow bag, so you'd think it drained, but I don't know. This, I don't know what the hell all this is, but it's just wild down here. This is still alive. Oh, it's got a pumpkin on the end. This is a pumpkin. This is a Cinderella. And the leaves don't look very healthy, but we do have a pumpkin. I probably should put something down so it doesn't rot on that. I don't know what, but I'll put something down there. These were kabocha squashes, my favorite squash. Yeah, it's dead. All of it's dead. So, I don't know. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna put in these. Maybe I'll put some, I think I'm gonna put peas and beans in these and see if they'll grow. We're right on the lake here, but there's drainage issues that we're trying to remediate here. It's just, look, it's just flowing. So here I am just clipping old branches that are dead and pulling them out. I will be throwing them into the woods. And soon enough, when I have my own property, I will be composting and I'll have chickens in the spring is what I'm hoping. And I'm just so excited to be able to use kitchen scraps and gardening scraps and even, you know, boxes that I get in the mail and utilize them on my homestead. And in my grow bags over here, I'm just clipping off dead branches and hoping that maybe I'll get some fruit. But I'm having grace with myself and I'll be forever learning as a gardener. So if I get some produce, then I am happy. So I don't know how much that got on film because I looked over and it wasn't recording. But I just put all my seeds back in here. I definitely need another storage solution or more storage because they're crammed in here. I store this in a dark place, so I know that it being clear and stuff, and some of the seed packets I use are clear. I'm just gonna go plant them and I will explain what I'm doing as I do it. And then I have golden beets, zucchini, homemade pickled cucumbers by Botanical Interest, and then the other things, sweet peas, beans, provider beans, and pole beans. That's what I have. Let's go, it's starting to rain. It's getting dark. I'm going out to plant my seeds, and you can hear the kids next door having a good old time in the lake. And just as I started to loosen up the soil to plant my seeds, the rain started to come down in buckets. Well, I shouldn't have organized my seeds because I could have had this stuff in the ground. Hopefully this blows over so that I can plant my seeds because I was gonna head home. The summer that it never stopped raining. I just wanted to show you. I didn't have my camera and I don't have my tripod, so it's hard to record right now, but I neglected my worm bin. I just have had so much going on that I just said if the worms die, they die. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with them because I feel like I have to start over. I put in squash like scraps with seeds from the get-go and had things sprouting in there, and the seeds never decomposed. It was just like a mess. I've had these worms for like a year and a half and I have yet to harvest any castings because every time I do, it's mixed with tons of stuff. It was never airy and fluffy and I didn't know what to do. So I just said, whatever. So I came in today to be like, well, let me at least feed them or see like what the situation is with the worms because I haven't really touched them in like, probably like almost 2 months. I put a lot of paper on top just because I had a bunch. And so I don't know how that's going to do, but I'm kind of experimenting because I have given up on these worms. But I added in some leaves and I came in here, and I wish I had gotten a little clip of it, but it is just super. I added some fresh food, but you can see these seeds are like 2 years old. They just don't break down. And so it's just frustrating, but the castings are looking great. And so I'm hoping that I can, it's just still a little bit sloppy in there. So I'm not adding any, I haven't added water to this thing in a year. It just is always moist. So I add leaves on top. I'm adding the paper to keep the moisture in. And it's probably too much paper, but I don't want to store it because I'm moving. So I'm just going to keep it on there. I mean, this bin needs to be replaced. I have this so that I could let out water, and these are Rubbermaid tough ones. I've actually used the warranty and they've sent me gift cards to buy new ones, but there's definitely airflow because I have holes along the edges of it. You can't see it, but I do have holes drilled up on the side and it's cracked. So I'm not worried about airflow in there, but that's the worm situation. So we'll see, you know, when I move. And I was thinking about like just dumping most of them in my garden beds and then covering them with mulch for over winter in my new place. But we'll see. I'm hot and sticky. All right, so here we are trying to plant seeds for a second time. It has stopped raining and you can see it's very wet outside, but I got my little green lid here. We have a lot of extra lids from moving that don't seem to have a container for the bottom, but we're saving them just in case. And I'm going to use that for my pumpkin. But I'm planting pole beans here and beets. And on the other side, I am planting cucumbers, I believe is what I planted on the other side of the trellis. And then in these grow bags over here, I am planting some bush beans and then topping them with beets as well. These might not produce everything I'm doing this year. Again, grace with myself, and if I get a harvest, I will be ecstatic. And here's my little pumpkin, and I'm going to put it on top of this Tupperware lid, and hopefully it will grow, but it will give it its best chance. And after I was done planting, I headed home, passing the restaurant that me and my boyfriend had our second date, which always is nostalgic for me when I drive by. I love the back roads of New Hampshire. And up here on the left, you'll see cars gathered, and that's because there is a natural spring that you can get water at. And so it's very picturesque, and I love it here. And I'm so excited to have my first home here in New Hampshire. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.